Okay, I have 4 o'clock here. We'll get started. I'm sure we might get a few stragglers. If you haven't already done so, please in the chat put your name for purposes of attendance. Okay, so I'm about 3/4 through grading this week's assignment. This is one of my more favorite assignments of the term here that we do because we get to take in-depth look at one particular student. Looking at your selections collectively, many of you chose a student, this is just pure coincidence, with ADHD. And I can't help but wonder relative to that diagnosis. And I'm not enough of an expert in the field to say one way or another, but I wonder if that becomes one of the flavors of the month per se. Sometimes, particularly when you read the SDI of an OHI student, other health impaired ADHD student, proximity, have them sit close to you, maybe a little more attention, maybe some extra time on tests. It really should be a student who we can get there, if you will, with a little extra attention. Again, I'm going to reference back to the RTI pyramid, the 85, the 10, and the 5. I would put the OHI then in that 10, right? That we've given them the good first time instruction, and they might need just a little more from us in order to be successful. So where I would like to start is, and again, participation here is seeing each other and then staying muted until we wish to comment. I'd like to know some of the motivations for who you picked. If anyone would wish to share why they picked the student that they did. Go ahead, Kyle.
So I picked my student based on the fact that, honestly, in a year and a half, so last year into this year, I only have two students that have IEPs or anything like that. So I'm a lucky one. But so I picked the IEP that had maybe the most differentiation necessary. It's not very much, but so far he's only been there for 3 weeks. So I'm sure as we get into the more difficult material in class, we'll have to adjust some things further. But
Right. Someone else raised their hand. Go ahead, Daryl, and then Allie.
So I picked one of the harder students that I currently have, whose ADHD is the most severe. Unfortunately, I'm not like Kyle. Mine is. I had from last year to this year. I probably have 3504 an IEP student. It's crazy to try to get them all in the same or to fix tests to make it for each one, but I try the best I can to accommodate all of them.
Allie?
I have not had experience with an IEP yet, except for this year. I finally have my first one, and she has the other health impairment, and she is relatively pretty easygoing. She requires a few things that I'm able to accommodate. Like she goes to another room with itinerant support to test. She can take a little longer if she needs. She can have her questions read out loud to her, but she doesn't really ask for that often because she's kind of self-sufficient, and she's able to, advocate for herself and let us know what she needs, which is really nice. And she's, quieter. She's a quieter person. So, I check in with her often to make sure that, she is getting the information and, able to process it, as well as everybody else. I ask her in a way that it's not like indicative that she has any sort of learning disability, but I just like to check in with her more frequently to make sure that everything is good for her.
Heather? I can't hear you, Heather. Can anyone else hear Heather? Can't hear you, Heather. Are you muted, unmuted? I'm seeing that you're muted. Okay. Unmuted but not working. Freesia, go ahead.
Hopefully mine's
Yes.
working. So the student that I selected this round is actually one of my more complicated. He has a hearing disability as well as ADHD. So not only is attention his issue, but being able to hear my content and make sure he's focused at the same time. Constant check-ins for him are almost a no-brainer. We've had to do like putting him in preferential seating so that he doesn't have anybody behind him. And he's not too far up close because he has to wear a microphone. And if I get loud, then I'm going to break this poor kid's ears. So I've had to find a middle ground in the classroom where he also doesn't have anybody behind him because he can't handle the background noise. He's very easily distracted by anything behind him. So in the short period of time we've been back to school, it's been quite the learning experience for the two of us.
It sounds like it. And I'm hearing the extremes. We have some people who are inundated with students who have an IEP of 504, and we have some who this is their first journey in that world. And I find that very interesting. I was under the assumption that we were all inundated with 504s and with IEPs. One thing I want to put out that I think is a danger. So, if you probably have never heard of a site called Penn Data, and when you go to the Penn Data site, you can select individual districts, etc., and see their rate of identification. And we are closing in on 20% of the students in the state of Pennsylvania who have an identified IEP. And I find that hard to believe that 1 out of every 5 are identified as a disability. You know, I can understand coming out of COVID perhaps, and that learners were struggling and learners were behind, but that's a far cry from being behind to saying that all have a disability. So I'm going to share a little bit here from that site. And all you have to do is Google Penn data, but to see, and you can see how your district compares to others. And if so, there's 1.6 million students in public ed, total special ed enrollment of close to 350,000. That's over 20%. Now, a third of those are specific learning disability. Specific learning disability. So they take a little longer, perhaps. And then there's our OHI at about 18% of the 350,000. There's our speech and language. Now, speech and language, they ought to be done with speech and language by the time they get to you and get to high school. And then you can also look at the identification rates in the bottom left by population and by race. Ironically, or a relationship is those students who are identified as economically disadvantaged have a higher probability of also being identified as special education. So I think some of that comes from, if you follow the research of experience of students prior to getting into school, exposure to books, vocabulary development, those types of things, then sometimes that translates into kindergarten and beyond. But I don't have any great answers, but I want to pose this question to you because I think as public educators, it needs to be on our radar. We're looking at the future workforce of the state of Pennsylvania. So I just have a hard time grasping that the future workforce, 1 out of 5 of them are disabled, particularly when how someone gets identified in Pennsylvania may be different and is different than how someone gets identified in another state. We're all following federal compliance with IDEA, the Individual and Disabilities Education Act. So should there not be a federal standard and a federal way, if you will, of adhering to that law? No more, no less. But what I can tell you is that is not the case. When you look at students who are referred for an IEP, schools have 90 days to complete that evaluation, 90 calendar days. Summer counts as 1 day, if you're wondering if someone makes a request in May. But the Pennsylvania school psychologist and the other state school psychologist could test the same kid, and if they're a borderline child, one state might identify them, one state might not. I'm not about not helping students. That's not what I'm saying. A lot of what we do, and look at particularly those of you who chose OHI, how many of those things, like Allie just mentioned, well, I give them more time for a test. Okay. That doesn't mean you don't have to do that for someone without a disability, right? So I sit a student who doesn't pay attention, I sit them closer to me. Okay. Some of you mentioned peer tutoring. You know, that can be so again, I'm going to relate back to, and I know I told a few horror stories about when I was a know-it-all inclusion teacher, but you know, and I came to realize that good accommodations were just good accommodations, and they worked for regular ed kids and for special ed kids. But if you ever want to dive in and see how some of your sending schools and what their special education data is, this is all public. You don't need a special password or anything else to get to that. Anybody else care to share anything about the student that they chose? All right, what about, let's talk a little bit about your experience with your case manager. Depending on the size of the school, I know that they have varying levels of staffing. As some of you might have a pupil services or a special ed director. I know at our school we do not. We have 5 special education teachers, and they all work with the sending LEAs, and we divide up who does what school, so they're only answering to one person. Some of you may only have 1 or 2 special education teachers. So the second thing I wish to discuss is, does anyone want to talk about their experience meeting with the case manager and how that was helpful or how that wasn't helpful? What's their role in your conversation? Go ahead, Derek.
So at our school, we have two IEP teachers. So when the IEPs are written up, they talk to directly to school guidance counselor. And if there's an issue either happening at home or happening with the school, we set a meeting as soon as possible. We have either like a Zoom meeting or in-person meeting to figure out what the problem is and to figure out a solution for that problem.
Okay. Others working with their IEP teachers or whoever was the case manager want to share their experience. Go ahead, Michael.
I have similar to Derek. We have several special ed teachers that push into the classroom and help out with various kids with IEPs and 504s from all of our sending districts. They're typically broken up based on program. So like we have one that does the construction trades cluster like at the one end of the school, and then there's 2 other ones that do the other parts of the school.
That's interesting that they break it up by career cluster. I like that, so they can develop maybe perhaps a little bit of an expertise when it comes to hold on, we got one of our students here. Okay. All right. 1 sec. Sorry, give me 1 second. We have someone joining the class here, and they got transferred in late, so I need to send them the email here. All right. Yeah, one of your cohort members was put in the wrong class. So I got notification they'll be joining us. So I'll be playing some catch up with them, but I'd forgotten to, I thought once they added them, they would be in there. But and be able to access that meet. There he goes. Welcome, Joe. At my school, Michael comments, we have a few case managers in the building. The one I work with handles directly with the students, only with the construction automotive wing of the building, which helps make it easy. Yeah, so like I said, we haven't designed them by cluster. I think there's a degree of expertise there that then they can discuss the appropriateness of the fit related to the student's disability. But I inherited a system that they're assigned to work with particular LEAs or special ed directors from the 8 schools. Now, on your second and third year students, or even on your incoming students, do any of you get to sit on the IEP? I see a few nods, but I see some not. Okay. Someone who sits on the IEP, can you discuss what that's been like? Because I want the others to know what they're missing here. Go ahead, Precia.
There we go. So for me, it's a whole group of us that get together. So there's administration, the guidance counselor. Typically it's a math teacher, an English, or learning teacher, and then the shop teacher. And we go through basically one by one, saying like which key points of the IEP are working, what needs to be readdressed, as well as we sit in with the parents and the students. So it's a whole team meeting for us, which I think is great because it's like a collaborative thing. So you do get to learn more about the student, not just like how they do for you in your class, but how they are overall. So for me, learning which of my students are just simply good students that just need redirected versus students that are just all over the board for everyone. It's kind of reassuring to hear that it's not just you, but it is nice to also get input from the parents so that like you hear if what you've been implementing is working and if they're seeing a difference with their child, not just you and your class.
You participate in person or virtually?
I'm usually in person. We usually have a substitute that comes in and handles the class while we have our portion of the meeting.
Wonderful. So they have the meeting at the center, at the tech school?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the parents invited to come in, but oftentimes because it's the middle of everybody's workday, usually the parents are virtual, and then any of us that are in-house that can be there present, we collaborate as a whole team.
Others similar to Freesa as far as participating. Michael, I saw you nod your head.
It depends on if my special ed specialist, if they don't think I'm needed to be there, I won't go. But sometimes with specific people will sit in. We don't get to check. Are you talking about like throughout the school year where the students are in the program, or are you talking about a new student coming in too?
So for example, what's the role you play in an IEP on an incoming student versus the role you play for a returning student?
So with incoming, teacher has no input whatsoever as far as who's coming into the program. That's something I've been trying to get changed, because with HVAC you have students come in and they really don't even, it might be their second or third choice. They might just want to be a tech school. They might have been told that tech school was the best for them, or the best place for them. So we're trying to get like an interview process set up where we want to put the best kid in the best spot. Ideally, they're going to do the best in a program that interests them. So we don't really have a lot of input when they come into the program. But once they are in the program, we are able to sit on any IEP meeting we need to. So
Now, Kyle, you said you're not involved in any IEP meetings?
So far, no.
Again,
I don't know if it was just.
I don't know if it was just last year. I haven't been on any incoming,
and I'm not 100%.
And I'm not 100% sure if I will get in on any this year. But again, my IEPs I only have two
compared to all the other
teachers.
Almost
I have almost none. They told me that coming in precision machining that it's very rare to get very many IEP students. So
our school has
an actual administrator who's they call her our special programs coordinator,
and then she has
I think it's four special ed teachers under her that help with the IEP. So they have a large team that works on it.
I think it's critical, I sympathize with Michael, because that can be difficult on the administrative side. We have this enrollment process, and we're trying to hit our numbers and how the kids get in, and entrance criteria, etc. And then IEPs as an exponent, if you will. But I think once they're there, it should definitely be easier for you to participate in the IEP process. And quite frankly, all of you get Perkins money. That's part of a Perkins audit, is participation of the career and tech teacher into the IEP process and how that's done. So there is some leverage there. Anybody else not participate in an IEP meeting? And this all sound like a foreign language? Go ahead, Joe.
Sorry, I'm late to the conference here. I couldn't find the link anywhere on the website. I have not been in any meetings yet, being that it's like my fifth day in this job. And I am struggling through the homework of getting it done. I'm not done it yet, but putting it together, because I don't understand a lot of the questions and going through it. But when you're in it, I have a lot of students that I know have it, have IUPs and either 504 plans or but I'm trying to structure the class to overall go through all of the different circumstances, I guess, that you have to jump through for visual learners or hands-on learners or all the different ones. I don't really per se have any questions, but does anybody have any? What should I like plan for my first meeting? Or
I would say the most important part of the IEP for the teacher, and we're all teachers here, so I want to agree or disagree, is called the SDI, the specifically designed instruction. For me, that tells you what to do, and that tells you what you're going to be held accountable. Remember, with an IEP, it's not do I want to or do I not want to, it's the law, right? So we can get over the shoulda, woulda, coulda. We'll just do it, and then we can talk about it later. Michael said
SDI.
That's SDI, specifically designed instruction. Another thing that might help you too is current ed levels. So and those are in the IEP as well. So we talk about readiness levels in terms of the differentiation. You'd like to know that do you have a 10th grade student functioning on a 10th grade level? Perhaps not. I was reading one assignment today, and the English language arts, the reading comprehension and the written expression were at the 7th grade level, as was the math computation. Well, how are you going to get a student to do 10th grade work on a 7th grade performance level? It presents a real challenge. And if I were Joe and was in that situation, I'm going to go to that case manager like, I know I have 5 times the experience that I did on day 1, but I've only been here 5 days, so what do I do? And, I have this reading coming up, or I have this problem coming up, or I have this assignment coming up, and I'm not sure that the student can do it. Now, I'm not good. There are what's called open-ended resources where you can put in a topic, and it'll give you different readings at different lexiles, but it'll have the same heading, right? So, Allie's reading at a post-secondary level. She gets a high lexile. Joe, you're not reading as high. You get a different lexile. So you can choose high, medium, and low lexiles on the same topic. I don't know if anyone's familiar with OER, called open-ended resources, and I wasn't anticipating that, but I will for the next meeting. I'll get you a link. We've created a teacher site where they can click on OER, and there's different open-ended resources by subject and content area, and that might help you get rolling. But if you you're not automotive technology, are you? Trying to remember.
No, I'm plumbing.
Plumbing.
No, I'm plumbing.
I don't have a whole lot of.
No, I don't have a whole lot of.
I can
make it suitable for
different levels
of reading and
also
stuff.
I don't have
a whole lot of certifications other than NOCTI and
what about
stuff
OSHA
going
10?
on in third year.
OSHA 10?
Ocean 10, yeah.
Ocean 10, yeah.
Sorry,
Ocean 10 is we're doing that hopefully next month.
For all my
sophomores.
juniors
And then all my juniors and seniors have OSHA 10.
and they're not.
They don't need OSHA 30.
So, like, real quick, while you were talking, all right, open-ended resources in plumbing technology.
All right, cool.
From
All right.
Hines Community College. I never even heard of Hines Community College. Plumber's licensing exam, study guides, open-ended resources. I mean, sometimes the internet can be a good thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And this will be this. Sorry, my fat thumbs. I went on open-ended resources and closed my own tab. All right. So in any event, that might be a term that any of you could explore if you just put in open-ended resources and then your overall, whether it's plumbing, HVAC, whatnot, because Michael indicated that sometimes they put students in there who maybe don't get it. Okay. There we go. So another part, an important piece of the last assignment, and I just think an important part of our teaching, is our reflection, both on a small scale and on a larger scale. Day to day, how did that day go? Year to year, quarter to quarter, class to class, whatever the case might be. But in your reflection, I would just encourage you, and I don't think you need to necessarily write it down, but I hope whether it's day 5 or day 1,000 or year 1, year 10. I mean, I'm sitting on this is 34 coming in, and I've been looking at my last couple years. First 10 went by like that. Even the second 10 weren't bad, but when you start hitting 30, not that they're bad, but you definitely don't have the energy and enthusiasm necessarily as year 1. And I think for someone in my situation, what's become a word that's very important to me is effective. Effective. I think a lot of the times we want to be right, but I think it's more important to be effective. And not that they're mutually exclusive, but they're not synonyms either. We really need to try to be effective. And so my last couple years here is with that in mind, reflecting on that word effective. When I show up, am I making decisions that are going to be effective for the people, places, and things that I'm responsible for? So relative to your own instruction, and I've heard some of you are second or third year, and perhaps I was reading an assignment today, and they're going into their third year. I really think that the first 3 years are 3 large years of growth. My father was a 30-plus year educator. My mother was a 30-plus year educator. My dad was an administrator. My mom was a teacher. So I'm in the family business, if you will. But my father used to believe that the first 3 years, you're learning your craft. The next 3 years, you're perfecting and growing your craft. And then after year 6 or so, there are always refinements. There are updates. We talked about what technology was now versus 30 years ago, and overhead versus PowerPoint versus look at us now holding these virtual meetings. But again, someone was writing as entering into their third year. And I think in that third year, you can begin to predict, all right? Not to pick on Joe, but to pick on Joe a little bit, right? He's got 180 first days. He's never been through this before, where some of you at least have 1 year under your belt, and you kind of got something going on, but really going into your third year and completing your third year. So anything relative to your reflection or your experience with this case study that you care to share with the group? Anything on your reflection? Go ahead, Allie.
So I can tell you,
Joe, just from last year to this year, it is such a complete 180 from last year. You're not so much focused on just getting out the information, but you're actually looking at the information that you're providing, and you're kind of like tailoring it to them, and you're able to make adjustments to the curriculum that you're teaching, so that you can differentiate it. You're not just throwing up all the stuff that you have to give them. You're actually looking at the stuff that you're teaching them, and you're like, okay, this doesn't work the way it is, so I'm going to make it this way so that I can convey it in a more understandable fashion. You're going to tweak your assignments, you're going to tweak your PowerPoints, you're going to tweak your learning guides, and you're going to tailor them to not only differentiate for your students who have learning disabilities or things of that nature. You're just going to just overall differentiate for everybody, so that the information that you're giving them is clear and concise and more easily understandable.
Any others comments about their own reflection or perhaps their own growth over year 1 to year 2, year 2 to year 3? Go ahead, John.
Yes. So year one was a nightmare for me, because I actually bounced back and forth from electrical to carpentry, and I was co-teaching. So I wasn't able to get a connection with the kids. It was kind of like two divorced parents with joint custody of the kids. We didn't, it was horrible communication. And year two got a little better because, I guess I fought against the grain and I focused on building content and refining it, like Ali said. And I have a new teacher who we're teaching carpentry together full time now. I feel like it's such a world of difference from year one until now. And I did spend all of last year. I know the content because it's something I did for 37 years. So I kind of teach the way I need to be taught myself. I need things spelled out. You have to show me. I needed learning guides. I don't know. I feel like I'm having a blast this year. I have a connection with the kids. I have a connection with the kids. Yeah. And I'm just having a blast. I'm just having a blast. It's a pleasant change to have all the kids do exactly what you want them to do. Like everybody's working, and I give them book work, and they're doing the book work. It is early in the year, and I might jinx myself. I might go in tomorrow and it'd be a nightmare. So far, it's from year one. So for all you year one folks, it gets better. Every minute it gets better. And from year one to year two, there's a world of difference. And then from year two to year three, it's like you start to hit your stride. I feel much more comfortable. I find it so. It seems like it comes natural to differentiate. I make my tests. I differentiate my tests. I differentiate my bookwork. Over the past couple of years, I've built visual learning. I built a cutaway of a house. So all the components, even the concrete footing and the foundation wall, and everything's labeled. Yeah, so we're not learning from pictures. Yeah, so we're not learning from pictures anymore. We have physical. And that's what I needed. And that's what I needed. That's what I needed. And plus, a lot of it was stuff that I didn't do. I did commercial carpentry, so I had to refine my skills so I could teach it better. I don't know. I'll shut up now. I don't want to hijack the class, but it gets much better. It gets easier.
Michael.
Joe, I know you only been doing this 5 days, and you're probably. I'm going to give you my experience from when I started in HVAC. I started the end of the year in February in a class that had a long-term substitute, in a class that had no teacher the year prior to that. And I'm going to show you this because I keep it on the wall in my office. It's a checklist of all the days. It was every day I would check a day off until summer started. Because I was like, what did I get myself into? But now I'm going into my third full year, and John and Allie, it's the same. It's cool now. It's cool now. You make those connections, but just keep doing it. And no matter what, you know more than they do about your content. So even if you go in trying to teach them 10 things, if you get one of those things done during the day, you got 9 more days planned out.
Hearing all of you on your journey, the first, best, and the last part of this job is our relationship with students and what we can do for students. Many of you go into the private world and make more money than what you're making now. There needs to be a degree of this is your calling. I don't take that part of our job lightly. We have such an impact. I just showed you. We're part of what's going on with 1.6 million Pennsylvania public education students. There are several 100,000 of those public education students involved in our 84 or our 88 career and tech centers. Not to mention the vocational programming, the CT programming in standalone high schools. In some ways, it's a dream come true, but in all ways, it's an awesome responsibility in every sense of that word. For example, think about this case study and getting to know this learner individually. Imagine taking a student with a disability, and after the completion of your program, they have the knowledge and they have the skill set that they can be employed gainfully. Gainful wage, benefits, 401k, etc. I mean, I don't think that can be underestimated. And perhaps some of you see, I know at our school, again, I've told you, our two largest feeder schools, one has over a 90% free and reduced rate, and the other one is over 2/3. We're 2/3 across the building. We have kids going to work after school because they need to. The only money they have is the money they earn. Perhaps they're buying the shoes on their feet. So now we take those students, graduate them with knowledge and skills. One place where you don't have to worry about getting a job is in the skilled trades. There's not a glut of labor in the skilled trades. So, our knowledge and skills and the work that we're doing, I don't hide it from the fact that I believe it's a calling. We can go to its economic vitality and what we're doing to produce, hundreds of thousands of job-ready students and job-ready employees for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We can go on and on and on about working in a state that's getting older and the need to have these younger, vibrant, viable employees for our local employers in order to benefit the statewide economy. I mean, all of those things are true. But when I've heard student stories and students have said about what the school has done for them and the chance they now have as compared to whatever, I mean, that's all the difference in the world. And I know a lot of CEOs are going to get a lot better Christmas bonuses in terms of financial compensation, but quite frankly, those interpersonal relationship bonuses that we're developing, Michael, your horror story, okay? The kids you now have, right, in your third year know you. The kids behind them only know you. Your year twos, your year ones. We went through an experience like that a few years back with our welding program. I think we had 4 teachers within 3 years. So the guy we have now who's been there, I lose track of time, but I'm going to say he's been there 4, 5, 6 years now. He came in and he fully wondered, what the hell am I doing? And we didn't know if he was going to make it through that first year. I think what helped him is his wife was a local special education teacher, kind of helped him through all the nomenclature and whatnot. And then another thing that helped him is his first summer when all of his buddies were working down at the plant, he was collecting that check every 2 weeks and going camping. All of a sudden he felt pretty rejuvenated for year 2. Okay. All right, so I want to prelude a little bit where we're headed as far as Module 3. Again, so we not only differentiate content, process, and product. So there's 3 areas that we can differentiate depending upon what you're doing. Hey, Michael wants Joe to know there are 100% right. This is my second year. My first year was horrible, but this year has been a lot better with helping students with IEPs and getting to know them and cleaning up curriculum. Joe, there's hope, which is the last thing that came out of Pandora's box, right? We remember that old Aesop's fable? When Pandora opened her box that she was not supposed to, the last thing that came out was hope. I remind people that all the time. Teachers can develop effective, personalized learning by tailoring instruction to groups of students with similar needs through varied approaches to content, process, and product. And some of you have already alluded to that, particularly relative to the cooperative learning and having students work with other students. Essential questions. Why do we need to know our learners' readiness levels, interest inventories, and learning profiles? And does an individual learning plan mean that every student is doing something different, learning something different, and being taught in a different manner? Or does flexible grouping allow for similar learners from in the group? So what you're going to do is I want you to take a look at those big ideas and essential questions, digest them yourselves. You have a couple readings to do, and then you're going to create an essay. And it's a reflective piece. Teachers can develop effective personalized learning by tailoring instruction to groups of students with similar needs through varied approaches to content, process, and product. What should your essay address? The rationale behind knowing our students as learners. Think about that, write about that. An example of a strategy to gather information so we know our students as learners. John's journey as a horrible co-teaching experience to what he's doing now, right? What did you do to know your students as learners? If you just jump right in with 2 feet, you might end up at the shallow end of the pool and break your ankles. You've got to know what you're doing before you're doing it. And a recent example of differentiated content, process, or product in lieu of a tangible example, an upcoming plan. So we've had a couple weeks of school. You might have already done that. You might have had that in your tool bag from previous year. Want to hear what you did with that. So, and then next week we'll talk about the flexible grouping and instructional methods. So, relative to our foreshadowing of what's to come, any question, comment, concern on writing the essay? Ali commented that she cried for a couple days when she first started. I don't think that's unusual for everybody. Again, only if you take it serious, right? Only if you're conscientious. Only if it matters. If it doesn't matter, then it's easy. Then it's easy because you just don't care. But all of us care. All of us are conscientious. Okay. So Heather says, just want to clarify where I can find this assignment. It should be in the syllabus, Heather. When I click on Module 3 grade assignments titled Essay that you just showed us, but it has the criteria from the Model 2 assignment. That might have been an upload thing on Point Park's end. It should be in the syllabus. I will tell you what I will do, though, is following this meeting, I'll make it in the announcements so you have it regardless. Kyle?
That was my question.
It was the assignment for Module 3 was the exact same as Module 2. So I just screen captured this screen right here you have up so that I knew what the assignment was.
Take care of that as well. I'll send it out in an announcement so you have it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question, comment, concern? Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Kyle, for catching that. That's why I like to have the review, then the discussion of the assignment, then the prelude to the next, just to make sure we're on the same page. Once again, some of you did join late. Please make sure your name is in the chat for attendance. Yes, Allie, go ahead.
My reflective journal from
last week, well, it's for week 2, is not graded, but I was on the
Did you
Zoom,
check that
so I
out
wasn't.
before class? I noticed that a couple I thought were there aren't there.
Yes.
So okay.
Yes. Because I had a red bubble in my to-do list, and it said week 2, for the journal Zoom, but I was on the Zoom.
I'll double check your grade specifically.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and
Thank you so
I
much.
appreciate addressing these hiccups. Tricia, go ahead. There you go.
I'm part of that.
Yeah, I'm part of that cohort. I was there last week, but it wasn't put in yet.
On the journal end. Okay. I'll double check that.
Yes.
My journal's not in either.
My journal's not in either.
I thought I got all the. So
Same here. I also don't have a score for the journal.
okay, so I want to make sure of something here. All right, I'm on that page right now. Okay, so I got ahead of myself for the first week. Okay. Yeah. All right. I see what I did. Yeah, I see what I did. I got ahead of myself the first week and then behind the second week. All right, this is totally my error. I'm gonna fix it. Okay. There's that. I don't know why I was thinking about 2 versus 3, but that doesn't make sense. Huh. I know what I did. For majority of one section, but not another. I don't know. That's my apologies. That should all be fixed now. Please double check. And if it's not, shoot me an email. All right. So all of those grade errors should be fixed. I'm going to put out an announcement relative to the task at hand here with the graded assignments. I appreciate all of your feedback. That only makes this course better. Anything else on that end?
Thank you.
All right, it's 4:57. I'll stay on if anybody has any questions. Other than that, thank you very much.
I'm sorry, where did you say you were going to put this?
I'm sorry, where did you say you were going to put this
I'm going to send an
assignment?
announcement to the class.
Gotcha. And I don't think I was graded.
Gotcha. And I don't think I was graded for my
I don't think you were either. Double check.
journal.
I think I corrected that now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, have a good night.
All right, have a good night.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes. So I'm on. This is Nicole Marshall. This is Nicole Marshall. How you doing? So I stayed on so I can actually talk to you because I've missed the first 2 classes. I think I had emailed you.
All right. So if you would just you have access to the syllabus now, right?
Yes.
And you have access to the assignments. So just play some catch up. Okay. The one is just an introduction. So you just go ahead and do that introduction piece. So the module 1 stuff isn't too overtaxing or anything like that. So what I'd like you to do is look at the syllabus, look at those assignments, play catch up on that missing work. My email is there. If you have problems with assignments or whatnot, have questions, just shoot me an email and we'll get you caught up.
Well, I had emailed you because the problems that I had was I did submit the first one, and it was that Wednesday before the Friday that was due, but it obviously didn't go up. So I had emailed you so you can actually see that I had it in my Word that it was like Wednesday and it didn't go in. I don't know what the situation is. I'm not tech savvy. I'm telling you right now. I actually had to talk to Frecia about how to get on earlier, and most of the stuff that I got submitted, I had to actually called my son and was like, can you come over and please make sure I put everything up on there, the ones that I had posted. So I'm trying to play catch up, but thank you for understanding, because I've been back and forth with court cases. My daughter is really heavy on drugs, so I got custody of her 5-year-old and the 15-month-old. So we've been back and forth to court, like trying to get the 5-year-old registered in school and switching everything over from her to me. So I missed the first couple of classes, and I do apologize for that. So I'm trying to play catch up with
not
everything.
a problem. I'll look at your work too, and if I have any questions, I'll shoot you an email as well.
Okay, then I appreciate that. Okay, then I appreciate that. No, I'll be on for the. No, I'll be on for the rest of the classes, but it was just the first two, that I missed, trying to just play catch up with. Thank you so much. Personal stuff.
Have a great day.
Thank you so much. You too. You too.
Hi, Rich. I just had to.
Hi, Rich. I just had to. I'm trying to get done my assignment for the second one. I am overwhelmed. I am overwhelmed. I am behind the ball and everything. I am behind the ball and everything right now. I walked into this job. I don't even have a single lesson plan. I'm building stuff. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing sometimes. So
just do me a favor. And I did in the loop. That's all. Right. You're not avoiding anything. And again, I've approached it like this. We're adults, okay? And we're going to solve this. I have no problem working with somebody who's keeping me in the loop. I just have a problem with someone after 6 weeks wants to cry about 6 weeks. Well, maybe you should have told me 6 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying?
I get you. I asked my special ed advisor for my special ed kids to help me out with a couple of things I should put in there. Can I just make up some of it, because I really don't even, I don't even know what students are special ed or. And right now I'm teaching them how to clean up the shop right now, because I'm trying to organize just the start. I do know, but I do know and understand what you mean about different scenarios and different learning types, and working with the kids, giving them vocab, giving them stuff to be able to help. And then if they need to have a quiet place or rent to them, I get all that stuff. So I'm just trying to get all that together. And then once I get that done, I'll work on 3.
All right, cool. And thank you for sending me
the
link.
Cool. And thank you for sending me the link. I couldn't find it anywhere.
Is it going to be the same?
Is it going to be the same link every week?
Same link every week.
Same link every week.
All right. Now that you emailed it to me, I'm going to.
All right. Now that you emailed it to me, I'm going to save it on my desktop.
Not to give a lot of extra time, but I think as you grow your craft, open-ended resources are going to be your friend, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You find something that somebody else likes, and you make it your own.
And that was through that Hines.
And that was through that Hines University.
Okay.
Open-ended resources.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Have
cool.
a great week.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.